Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, Rebuilding Helsingborg with me, Daniel. It's episode 5 today and we are back with ultimately a chance to win the league very early. We're playing the pre-season promotion favourites second in today's episode, but it's the first game where we've got the chance to really extend our lead. If we do so, we can go 15 points clear with our opponents just having 6 to play. And if the second result goes in our favour and they don't match ours, then we will be promoted by the end of this episode as champions. It is a remarkable feat. We could be up even before that. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on and whether we can achieve something spectacular, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. Hemel is back tomorrow. It's been a big season in that one. You can find the playlist up in the eye above. There's also links there to the head coach, the football podcast, the Twitch channel and the merchandise store too. And you can support the show as a channel member by clicking the join button down below. But thank you as always for your incredible supporters. We reflect on a number of good things that have happened here, but actually it's largely been negative since the last episode. You can see from the top of the screen we've picked up a few fairly important injuries, including the one from the end of the last episode. We've also had a youth intake which was okay but not spectacular. And we did manage to lose a game straight after our episode yet again. So if we go and have a look at the schedule first and see what's been going on. It was a really weird and frustrating spell since the last episode. We drew our first league game away from home, a 1-1 draw. Tahar Ali saved us late on. We then scrambled to a 1-0 win at home in the cup. Karjalainen getting his first goal after that long injury. That was just a set piece. We didn't really dominate in open play. We then lost 2-0 at home to Landskrona, who I'm pretty sure are right down in the bottom half. They're actually in 14th when we played them, but they beat us 2-0 and it could well have been more. But we did bounce back away from home in the last couple of games. A 3-0 win at Norrby, Hendrickson and 2 for Lundberg in that game. And then away at Falkenbergs, a 2-0 victory with Lundberg and Van den Herk saving us late on. As at 79 minutes it was 0-0. Looked like being another frustrating day. But we are winding towards the title. We haven't got much challenge. And you can see we've won 2 out of 4 games since you were last with me in the league. And we've extended our lead at the top again. It's not quite right, is it? So it's a league where there's a lot of teams tightly condensed in the middle of the table. But we are running away with it. Today we've got a chance to wrap up the title. Certainly promotion by the end of the episode. But we've also got to focus on things off the pitch. Because we have had some pretty bad injury news in the last week. And Anders Lindegaard is the main subject of that. He's not the player we want to get injured really. Because at 37, he is going to be declining with that. And he was having a really solid season. We've also got to bear in mind we sold our third choice keeper in January. We thought he was disposable. So that means we've only got one fit senior keeper now. I'm a little bit concerned about what might happen there. But for now, he's only out for 5 weeks. And it's a good time, if anything, because we shouldn't throw it away. Hendrickson and Almaged are on the way back. Almaged has been out for ages. And both Vidal and Lerpert missed the last game. They're 2 key players who we need back now. Lerpert, it doesn't look like he's making this one. But Kasper Vidal should be fully fit. So we'll see all of those guys in a minute as we head into the first game. But let's start by having a look at the youth intake, which actually just came yesterday morning. And there's 1 star in there. And then there's a little bit of a weird mix because we seem to have a few players who have got a lot of current ability. So you can see there's 1 player with 2-star ability, but not a huge amount of potential. It's really weird in a youngster, I would say. But we have produced another left winger who's potentially brilliant. There's some from last year that are really improving that were here at the start of the game. But Edvin Nordqvist looks like the star of the show. 1.5-star ability, 5-star potential, fairly professional personality, great on the ball and technically in those key areas. Got a decent bit of pace for a youngster. He's determined, he's got a good character and he's decent off the ball. So he is a player who I think is going to be very important in the future and may well reach his peak at this club. In terms of the others, we'll look at the highest star ability one because 2-star ability for a left wing back in Alfons Silverberg is a very good player. The problem is he's not got that development. He's got a low determination personality, but I think we can change that with a little bit of mentoring. I think he could be a star, and we have got dynamic potential this year, but he's still probably not going to make it to first team level. And I've also got to decide whether I train him as a left back, a left winger, or a holding midfielder, all of which he can play. I'm edging towards left back at the moment, looking at his profile, but holding role, could well work as well because he's nearly 6 foot and he's decent in the air. So a solid player. I'm not ruling him out just yet. We've got a few 1.5 star ability ones as well. I'll just hover over them quickly. Erlandson, a striker. Not a great player, physically not the best, but he's a brilliant finisher. And you know that can get you a long way in football. And then Nicholas Nyberg is a centre midfielder who again has got brilliant attributes, particularly mentally for that centre midfield role. Exquisite natural fitness, brilliant teamwork and work rate, but probably prone to a red card and not the best technically. So we might have to be a bit more careful with him. But either way, it's a pretty good intake. We don't really know how to judge it in a second tier of Swedish football. Are they players that are going to be stars, or are they just compared to some of our squad players? We'll wait and find out. We've also got a head of youth development who we mentioned was good, but isn't the best judge of potential in the world. So he's not going to be someone who's getting everything right, and that might make it hard for us to judge. But we'll see as the years go on how these guys develop. For now though, it's all about the first team and a big game in the Swedish Elite First Division. So let's go and get through to the fixtures. It's first v second. It's a massive game for us. Our opponent's 12 points behind. They need to get a win to close the gap here. But I'm not sure if they can continue to keep their overachievement up. Just seeing along their icons and legends, Marcus Allback and Johan Elmander, 2 former Premier League strikers. Let's have a look at the players though. No one that we recognise there. Who's the best? Elliot Stroud is an Englishman, I know that. His place of birth is Sweden, but he is a young British player and he's eligible for England. He's a cracking little player. There's also some good strikers in the team. If we look at the star one who's up there, he's pretty much as good as anything we've got up front, particularly the likes of Lundberg off the bench, Karjalainen back from injury too. And we got a little bit of money in the transfer window as well in the summer because Emil Kraft left Newcastle and we got a little bit of a sell-on from that. Not a huge amount of money, but enough to help keep us afloat. So let's get the opposition instructions on, see what side we can put out today. We're going to get our first team here because I have been playing around with the squad a bit because we're a little bit short of numbers. We have a look at the bench. Hendrickson is a choice or Carr. I'll obviously put the man on who's not injured. Lerper's not back yet. Almadjed's not back yet. And it does leave us a little short of options in the middle. So let's see what the assistants picked and what we can do with it. Probably the weakest midfield three we've played all season. Not ideal to have Lundberg out on the right-hand side. But I think that's as strong as we can be. So we're going to stick with it. It's Jolson in goal for the first time in a league game. He only played that one cup match. I didn't realise that the Swedish Cup was a traditional summer-to-summer tournament. So we've not got another game in that now till the winter. But the league runs winter to winter, so they don't finish at the same time. It's a little bit odd. Langren and Davidson are the fullbacks with Weiberg and Vidal as centre-half. Great to have him back in there in the middle. Lingman into the holding role with Canto and Johnson in centre midfield. And then Lundberg, Ali and Vandenherk the front three as we look to try and wrap up promotion. This would be a really big win if we can get it. So let's head into the first game today. Not much off the bench, only 7 that are available. But let's see if the 11 that start can do the job in front of their home crowd. Well, here are the lineups. 3 changes for our visitors today as they look to stay in the title race and more importantly, take aside the fact we're running away with the league. They're chasing promotion, which would be an incredible achievement for them too. So they're going to be putting up a big fight in this game. For us, with a new goalkeeper, is it going to have an effect defensively? We've had a couple of back-to-back clean sheets, but at home, we have had some poor performances recently. As here come the visitors, first attack of the game, 7 minutes in, keeping the ball well, playing a back 3 again, which really seems to make us struggle. I don't know what it is with that tactic. We've mentioned it in the Hemel save. Notts County always used to play it early on in that one. The back 3 and then a box midfield with 2 centre mids and 2 attacking mids. Does my head in. I just can't cope with it. So it's a long ball over the top which Vidal brings down. Got time on the ball. Finds Canto. He can cut it inside to Weiberg. There's no rush to get it forward here. They're taking their time. They're finding the right ball. As he goes back again to his goalkeeper Jolson. Just giving him a touch to warm him up. And Vidal can bring it over halfway to Canto. He's not started a game yet in the league, I don't think. Been off the bench a few times. As Langren gets it to Lundberg on the right. Chance to take on his man. Not his favoured position, but does well. Gets it into Tahar Ali. And one of the few positives in recent weeks is that he's coming to the party. He's improving. And he's showing a bit more consistency. But at the moment, we're dealing with a corner defensively. And we do not deal with it at all. To the back post. It's headed in easy as you like. And considering the height we've got in there, I know we're missing the likes of Lerper, but still, I'd expect us to do better than that. 1-0 down from the first shot on target. Could be a long day at home again. as it's a free kick for Lingman, 35 yards out. It's ambitious to go from there. It's comfortably over the bar. With a quarter of the game gone, we've not really looked like scoring yet. Well, we're heading to half time. We're going into 1 minute of added on stoppages, and it is not looking good. We're creating nothing. We're not looking like scoring. We're missing our biggest threat at the back post from set pieces, from crosses in open play. We're also missing our goalkeeper, which seems to have harmed us defensively. And Langren at right back is not having a good game either, as we play down to Lundberg on this side, into Canto, back to Lingman, but we haven't got those midfielders that can turn and create. We usually have Lingman further up. We always have a quality player in the holding role like Almajed. Henriksen's a big miss, though Lundberg's in here to Van den Herk. Hits the woodwork out of nowhere. Lundberg gets it from a poor clearance too, but it's straight back into the keeper's arms. He gets away with that one. A late chance for Helsingborg, but at half time we're 1-0 down. And at the moment, I don't really see where the goal comes from. So let's tell the lads we're disappointed. A few of them still apprehensive. Into the second half we go. We will not wait long for changes. And on that subject, we've reached the hour mark, so here they come. There's going to be a few of them too. The right back Langren is going off. He's going to be replaced by Ravi Zukar. We're going to take off a Weiberg for Swedish. We're going to bring on Karjalainen perhaps, I think. I mean, there's not really anyone better on the bench. That's the issue here. I'm going to take off Canto on this occasion and bring on Kaid in the middle. Just see if it helps at all. Al Hamlawi can come on up front because Van den Herk's had a shocker. And then Lundberg on the right will be replaced by Karjalainen. That's going to be our 5 subs. So I nearly bring the wrong man on there. We're going for that threat at the back post. We're going for something special. I'm not sure where it comes from though. GIF are 1-0 down as well. That's our opponents for next week. But at the moment, this push for the title, what could have been a spectacular episode, is going very wrong. As Tahar Ali on the left, can he spark us into life? The subs have only just come on. Can one of them make an impact? Here's Kaid to Johnson. Kaid's actually playing out of position. Naturally a left winger. We've not got any options in the middle. As Vidal on halfway. Plays into Johnson. Switch to that box-to-box role now. I want to get him further forward because he's a decent finisher. As Suljic plays into Lingman. To Kaid and Al Hamlawi. Through ball to Tahar Ali. He's in one-on-one. Ali shoots. It's deflected. Just took too long. It was a really good challenge. But a lovely move. Ends with nothing. And we still trail by a 1-0 to the only shot on target they've had. We're going to encourage the lads. We're going to go attacking. I'd rather lose 5 than 1, to be honest. Let's see if we can create something before the end. 10 minutes remaining. It doesn't look good. We're still getting held out. There's not really a huge attacking threat. And when the strikers are out of form, there's not much else to give. As Lingman finds Kaid, edge of the box. Just over the bar. It was a cracking effort. Probably not as close as it looked given the angle we had. But it looks like we're going to fall to defeat. We lose 1-0 at home to the second place side. The gap at the top is back to 9. I'm not too worried about that. But it is a little bit frustrating. The promotion won't be wrapped up today. Back in a moment to face GIF next week. They've stuttered again. They were held away from home. And that race for third spot actually is going to get very tight. So we'll be back in a moment for the second game today against what was the pre-season promotion favourites. It is fitness test time. We're back again for a big game against GIF. The good news, it looks like Henriksen's fit. It looks like Lerper can be on the bench. So we have got some of the stars returning. And boy, do we need to get a stranglehold of our midfield. You can see that the second place side won again. The gap is now just 6 points at the top. And yes, we've got games in hand. But if we play like we did last week, it's not going to matter, quite frankly, is it? So we need to try and stop the rot. We have been so poor at home recently, and I don't really know what the reason is for it. And maybe it's something we're going to have to think about tactically next year as well. So let's see who we can bring in today. It is going to be Henriksen in for Canto, who will be on the bench. He will replace Carr, who was the third choice defender. And then we'll also bring on Lerper for Al Hamlawi, who's the fourth choice striker for the substitutes. So not fully back to full strength, but a slight improvement regardless. Johnson will swap to the box-to-box role. Henriksen is the man who comes in. And although I'm tempted by a sub at right back, I'm going to stick with experience today. So through to the game we go. Helsingborg v GIF. The side's expected to be first and second at the start of the year. We're pulling up our part of the bargain, but can we extend our lead again today? Here is the side we're coming up against. Some very good players in that team, and we're going to have to be at our best to stop them. Remembering the last time we faced them on camera, it was a 2-2 draw, and we were quite fortunate to get a result out of it. So on this occasion, we're going to have to play a lot better. But our recent home performances would suggest that's not going to be the case. There's a goal kick for GIF downfield, headed away by Lingman to Lundberg. I do feel we miss a little bit of that presence in the holding role as well. Lingman's a very good player. He's not as good a holding midfielder as Almached is. As Ali goes back to Davidson, we're in possession, not keeping it quite as well in recent weeks, but that's what happens when you've got a backup midfield in. As Lingman finds Weiberg and Hendrickson, switch of plays just under hit, and Lasso intercepts for Stenson, and now GIF can come forward. Another team playing the back three. They're playing a slightly different formation going forward, but they are trying to adapt and catch us out as Ali gets in down the left-hand side, cuts back towards Van den Herk, loses out in the air. It's gone as far as Langren on the right wing. He's got a chance to work forward, goes to Johnson and Lundberg to Van den Herk. I thought he was offside. The goal's been given. I'm so sure he was off there. Unless there's someone off shot that was keeping him onside, it didn't look it. I thought he was a mile off, but we'll take the goal. 8 minutes gone, we're 1-0 up against the run of play. And hopefully now it will settle us down and allow us to get on the front foot as Lundstrom down the right for the visitors. They're straight back on the attack. They know that we're frail here. They've got two in the middle and Langren intercepts it. And Davison clears to Hendrickson. Why are you doing flicks there? Why on the edge of your own box are you doing flicks? What's the defender doing as well? Engblom puts it in. Weiberg ends up on his backside. Hendrickson couldn't make the end of his pass. I think it was Davidson who tried to do a back heel on the edge of his own box. It's a comedy of errors. It's absolutely awful. And now they've got a corner. We've given them a lifeline and now they're right on the front foot. Dahlstrom heads over. We're falling apart. I'm going to encourage the lads, but this is really, really concerning. The good news is we've made it to half time without any further damage, so we are still level, but I'm really struggling with these performances at the moment. I'm not quite sure how it's going so wrong. And maybe this is a sign for next season. You can let me know in the comments if you agree, but when we're beyond our first 11, take out maybe 2 or 3 of the subs. So like Lundberg can compete, Johnson in midfield can. Beyond that, we don't really have a good enough squad. And I either have to promote some youngsters for the squad players, or I probably have to get in a few more big names. As Weiberg comes over halfway. That does remind me we've got some contract news to talk about too after this one. As Ali goes back to Lingman. Down to Tahar Ali again. You can see he's in much better form. Oh, I was celebrating already. How on earth has Van den Herk missed that? Most of the goal was empty. He was completely unmarked. Ali did all the hard work and he just couldn't take advantage. It's down the right to Lundberg again. We're getting up a bit of a head of steam here. But it's headed away as far as Lingman and Johnson to Hendrickson, who's had a really poor return from injury. Finds Lundberg this time, no. It's just wide of the post. On the subject of Lundberg, Freddie Lundberg has turned up in this league as a manager as well. There's a lot to get through after this, but Hendrickson, he'll be replaced on his return from injury. Johnson will switch sides, Kanto as the box-to-box. Tahar Ali will be replaced by Adam Kaid. Lerpa will come on for Lundberg. We're also going to make the changes at the back. Langren replaced by Zuka. Suljic on for Weiberg, who got put on his backside for the goal. And hopefully with those 5 made, we can produce something in the last 20 minutes. As it's a long ball forward from GIF, intercepted by Davidson to Johnson and Kaid. Chance to come forward. It's switched towards Lerpa. Knocks it down for Kanto to Van den Herk. Just wide of the post. But again, Lerpa's aerial presence showing there. We've missed that. We've really missed having someone going forward who can dominate aerially. And we've got that back now with Lerpa's return. Whether we're going to get the moment of magic or not, though, I'm not quite sure. It stays 1-1. We are stuttering over the line here. Thank goodness we've got the lead we did. Because at the moment, we don't look like winning games. That is 2 wins out of 6 now. And at home, we just don't look like we can win. It's really, really frustrating. But it's still a point on the board. 7 clear at the top. 10 clear of the playoff places. Even if we don't get another point now, I still think we might nick a top 2 spot. But hopefully, we'll be able to find form again soon, because we have been better on the road. Very quickly though, before we look at when we're next going to be back, we have got some contractual news to get through. Kasper Weidel has signed a new contract after that scare late on in the January window. He's with us now till 2024. We've also got another deal tied up for Hendrickson, who's just come back from injury. He's added another year and is now here till 2023. But but he took a £100 a week pay rise, which makes him the highest paid player at the club. Vidal, only 1.1 grand a week, which I thought was an absolute bargain. Let's go and have a look at the schedule though, because the plan is, well, look, we should win the league now. We're definitely going to be in promotion contention, so we'll just come back for the last 2 games. We'll hopefully be celebrating when we get to that. But for now, it's getting a little bit edgy and we're going to have to find some form again soon. It's another home game next week, but then back-to-back away ones. I'm almost looking forward to those more at the moment. If you did enjoy this episode though, disappointing on the pitch, as it has been for about a month now, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think is going wrong. Is it just having 3 or 4 injuries for the first time? Or is it something a bit more deeper rooted than that? If you want to stay up to date and find out, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got daily FM22 content with the Hemel Hempstead save back tomorrow. There's links to that one and the head coach in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast and the merchandise store too. But above my head now is a recent episode from our Hemel One Club save. Please do check it out if you haven't already. I'll see you here again next time as we try and wrap up the title.